where it's really going to come in. I'm going to throw out a couple more that come up in the book that I'd like us to hit. And this one I thought would be interesting, especially because we're all in Aspen and it feels like it's actually of the moment. But you talk about the topic of relaxed attention, and I basically read it and I was like, I want that. You know, what is it? And I have a feeling that we all do. And I'm just curious, like, what is it and how do we get it and why do we want it?
You know, we've adopted this idea of relaxed attention partly because its equivalent, called daydreaming, gets a bad rap. You know, did you ever notice, like, I see a lot of movies. I see 200 movies a year. And in a school, like a high school movie, there's always a kid that gets in trouble for daydreaming. You know, he or she is looking out the window and stuff like that. And so we as a culture believe daydreaming is bad, right? And so got to rebrand it, right? And so for rebranding daydreaming, I want to call it relaxed attention. And relaxed attention is when you're not focused, you're not on task, you engaging the kind of analytical parts of your brain, but you're also not completely zoned out. You know, you're not asleep, you're not playing Angry Birds. You know, you're somewhere in between this kind of relaxed attention, where you're kind of holding an idea, perhaps gently in your mind, looking for maybe some idea you haven't thought of yet. And so everybody has this in their lives, and so the idea would be to try to gain more advantage from it, to be mindful of when during the day do you have these moments of relaxed attention, and try to find a way to capture more of the fresh ideas that come through to you. And so for lots of people, including my brother David, who I wrote the book with, for him it's in the shower, right? Lots of people say, it's not me, but lots of people say they have their best ideas in the shower. And I think I know why. You know, there is no email in the shower, right? In fact, there's nothing to read, right? Except the labels on the back of the shampoo bottle. And so your mind has a chance to disengage just for a second. For some of us, that's the only like 5 minutes of the day when you're not, you know, like reading emails or things. And so your mind floats. And so if that's the time for you, got to figure a way, maybe right after you get out of the shower, to say, like, any thoughts occurred to me today? My brother, taking this a step further, he's got a glass wall in the shower. He's got a whiteboard marker in there, and right? Idea comes up, he writes it on the glass wall. And so for me, it's a different time of day, and you might try this and see if it works for you. First 5 minutes of the morning. So what happens is, and there's some neuroscience behind this, and there's some really smart neuroscientists here. I won't try to second guess them, but as I understand it, there's this part of your brain, the frontal cortex, goes to sleep at night, right? Ever notice that your dreams are like wild? You're always like flying through the neighborhood, or, you know, showing up at work without your clothes on, or things like that, right? And so, so clearly that part of your brain, the executive center that's kind of controlling and managing everything, goes to sleep and lets the creative side of your brain run free. Well, my observation is that prefrontal cortex a little bit slow to wake up in the morning, a little bit like a teenager, right? And so you can take advantage of those first 5 minutes. So you tap the snooze alarm, you got about 5 minutes. And so my advice to you, just try this as an experiment, would be don't jump up out of bed. Do people actually do that? I'm not sure. But don't jump out of bed, don't go back to sleep. But try to just take those 5 minutes and hold an idea in your brain, something you've been working on, something you've been wondering about, and just see if you don't get some new thoughts on it. And then, very, very important, just like David in the shower, gotta have a pad of paper or some digital capture tool right beside the bed, because your short-term memory, your brain is dusting and cleaning all the time. You get an idea, it's trying to get rid of that one so you can get to the next thought. And so you got about 30 seconds in some cases to write that idea down. But yours might not be either of those. If you've got a long commute, it might be driving or on the train. But try to work on your creative yield by capturing more of the value that your brain is producing for you in those moments of relaxed attention.
That's great. And then big hint, you're in a great place for relaxed attention right now. Not in this room, outside. It's like there's a lot of tools to help us.